What's good, everyone? This is Masto here, and we're back. We have Season 4 of Sandbox, which I'm excited for. We've just finished the draft. We have scheduled our Week 1. We are going to do a quick draft recap over here. So basically just to give a little bit of insight on what we're planning on doing for this draft recap. Most of the Pokemon in the draft that I have this time around, I haven't had the opportunity or pleasure of using before. And I figured it would be a good farewell to Scarlet and Violet in terms of like, in terms of being like wanting to like really put an effort to like build and stuff, because current VG regulation I'm not really enjoying, and I've been doing a lot of Mario Kart speedrunning, which will kind of be the nickname theme of whatnot for these guys. So without any further ado, let's get into the draft picks. Alright, so I've went for a little bit of a different strategy this time. Normally I like to go for like getting like a good tier 1 off the bat. But we'll pick 8 out of 12, and I decided, you know what, we'll skip a couple of tier 1s for the time being. We'll go straight to the tier 2s and grab something that felt good there. And Esper was kind of calling out to me, in a sense. It might have just been because of a bit of a hype of the Legends EA, but also like looking into it, it's got some really good stats. It's a pretty solid Psychic type. It offers a lot of quite useful tools that I feel is appreciated from a tier 2 Pokemon. Pretty nice speed tier, got access to Fake Out and stuff. I won't be diving into too much of what each Pokemon can do. It's a good little summary of like inside of why I picked it. I just felt Esper was a really good tier 2 Pokemon, and I don't know how long it would have been around the board for, and I figured we'd get a pretty decent start just right out the gate. So pretty happy with Esper. I also think, with the exception of one Pokemon, the entire team is not doubled up on any kind of typing, so, which is, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, don't expect there to be more Psychic types. I will let you know when the double up happens. It's from 2 of our tier 4 Pokemon, but I have it's a relatively decent reasoning as to why that is. But yeah, we have Esper coming out first, and now we're going to get into our pick 2. Okay, pick 2 on the way back because there were only 12 coaches drafting. I have elected to pick Snivy. This one is also out of tier 2, and I do like to have a 5 water grass core. Particularly in Sandbox, I do like them to be starters, because they do get some fun, good options, and most of them are generally like pretty solid. So for Snivy, I've ended up picking it. Main reason that was driving me picking it now rather than later was because we do have access to Open Terra, which means this thing can do more than just click grass moves. It clicks grass moves really well, like, don't get it wrong, but having that extra option to have like an offensive or defensive Terra in the form of Terra Blast can really help aid some strategies that might want to be implemented here from our draft. So we got Snivy out of tier 2, not complaining about that at all. I feel like Snivy's going to be a pretty valuable member of the team going ahead. So not really too much more want to say out of that. Expect it to click like Leaf Storm almost every week when it's brought, because contrary to Leaf Storm, turns out it's pretty damn good, fellas. Not gonna lie. So with that said, we'll get straight into our pick 3. Okay, pick number 3, hot off the press, no pun intended, is Fuecoco. So, Fuecoco is a Pokemon that I wanted last season. Unfortunately, the one person in the league who lives IRL, pretty close to me, a good IRL of mine, Flamingo, did end up taking it, so we were stuck with Charmander. But we had fun with Charmander last season. Got to use a little bit of it to some relative success. But this time we do have Fuecoco. We picked up Fuecoco pretty early, because I was looking at all the tier 1s drop, and I have inevitably decided our tier 1s are going to be pick 10 and pick 11, and I'll just grab everything else, because if a lot of tier 1s are going early, a lot of tier 4s are going to have to be picked to fill out the free points of the budget. So Fuecoco, yeah, it's got a nice bit of bulk, fairly slow, but that's okay. I think we can build around and sort of make that work. Also has Unaware, so it'll be nice against any sort of strategies that involve like big kinds of setup. I know Riolu got drafted with some pretty solid coaching partners, so being unaware of that is kind of nice as well. Just also being unaware of like other potential gains, stat gains as well. So yeah, feeling pretty good about Fuecoco. Happy to have it on the squad, and it also means if it's something that I have on my squad, I know it's something I won't have to play against. So yeah, not too shabby. On to the pick 4, and you're not going to believe it, it's going to be the water starter. Okay, so I can understand that people who know me IRL are going to be like, why did you pick this? So Oshawott, just like Fuecoco, were tier 3, and I figured both of those from tier 3. When you value it compared to like a lot of the other tier 3s that you can pick, and considering the stuff that I want, which is, you know, that Fire, Water, Grass core from starter Pokemon, very happy to have Oshawott on our team. That's probably the most praise I will get out of it for the time being, because I keep telling everyone the Pokemon that saved this evolutionary line was Hisuian Samurott. But Oshawott has some pretty useful tools that we might be able to really take good advantage of. Especially with Terra, it gets access to a lot of like pretty great moves and like some not terrible base stats, so it being in tier 3 feels like a steal. Hopefully we can really sort of get the most out of it and really show off the best of what Oshawott can do for a Pokemon of its typing in its price. So after that, we will be heading into the pick 5 now, and we're going to be dipping a little more into tier 3, no, tier 4. We get some tier 4 picks now, so yeah, I get keen for that. We've got a few of those coming out. Okay, so the first tier 4 pick we picked up was Swablu. Two main reasons behind Swablu, I don't mind sharing that, because it's pretty damn obvious, like they're tier 4, like you grab them for specific niche purposes. The first one, it's got Cloud9. So any strategies involving weather, including like this, there were some Vulpixes that were drafted. There can be like manual weather as well, like all stuff that you know can keep in mind if you go up against something like the Solar Power with Charmander, you've got something faster with like Sunny Day, to just keep damage into relative fine balance. Swablu will be pretty nice for that, because it's got some relatively decent bulk for a tier 4, on par to the rest of the Babbies. It also has Tailwind. Tailwind is just a nice speed control option in a double setting format. VGC players know how powerful Tailwind can be. So having access to that, if we go up against it, or even if we don't go up against it, just having that is just generally going to be pretty nice. So pretty happy to have Swablu here. The next pick is also part normal, but it's a Pokemon that I kind of always draft, so if you know, you know. But we'll get straight into that one now. Yes, of course, all the OGs, all the real fans know that Azurill was absolutely coming back to the Great Noibats here. So we do have the Azurill pickup. Azurill is just, I just like this Pokemon, all right. It's got huge power. That's pretty cool. It's a lot of it is like not the most outstanding, but I like it. I really enjoy using it. I've used it even without like the huge power ability. Like I've used some Sap Super sets before. Goes alright. It's got some pretty cool tools behind it, and I think there's going to be some pretty interesting strategies we might be able to implement with Azurill, with the rest of the picks that we have implemented there. Also, not to mention, even though it's only got like base 20 attack, that Choice Bandage Huge Power Body Slam, that hits. So, just to make sure that we're not sleeping on Azurill too much. It is tier 4, it is kind of just like, yeah, it's kind of like there, it's like a set of blue balls and whatnot, but trust, it can do well. So, hopefully we'll get to showcase that a little more, and anytime the Pokemon is in tier 4, it's got a slot on the team. So, with that said and done, I think we grabbed the last tier 4 now, so we'll go into that one before we round out the rest of that draft. Yeah, with the addition to Terra, not only does it make Azurill a little better in the form of it, we can use something like a Terra Fairy, Terra Blast to give it a Fairy offensive option to abuse with huge power. We also have a pretty decent option with Dreepy. Dreepy is surprisingly pretty quick Pokemon. Not really the king of damage, but it's a lot of tier 4 sucks. Like, a lot of tier 4 is sort of some pretty mediocre garbage, and a bunch of tier 4s were sort of getting picked already. I got that main tier 4 that I did want, which I'm pretty happy about. I got the tier 4 that I absolutely love and will always pick, so we do have that. This pick probably could have waited a little bit. There was the one snipe of my draft did happen, so we did have to readjust for it, but I feel like we readjusted relatively fine to it. Which was a Galarian Meowth from tier 2. but we were able to sort of like, we rework through the math and resolve that fine. So Dupe will be coming in. It'll probably only be clicking ghost moves or dragon moves, but into drafts that don't have great answers into those two types, it could probably deal pretty well because it's got clear body, meaning it's immune to intimidate, ghost type naturally immune to fake out, and it can throw off some Terror Blast for some pretty strong physical damage if necessary. It will commit Terror, but sometimes in matchups you can afford to do so. And it also loses Draco Meteor, and gets like Thunder Wave as well. So it's got some pretty niche tools, despite only having a very, very limited move pool. But nonetheless, still pretty happy to get this Pokemon a run. It'll be nice to see how it goes in the next couple of weeks. So now to fix up due to the snipe, we've had to go with 2 tier 3s. So we've got 2 tier 3s and 2 tier 1s left. We'll be going into the next tier 3 now. Okay, so the first tier 3 we picked up, I do believe, was Joltik. And that's mainly because like a lot of the picks that were on the way were more likely to pick Joltik than the other Pokemon that I picked from tier 3, so I prioritized picking Joltik first. Joltik was mainly just the filler Pokemon I needed for the type we were missing. I did want to try and get another Steel type, but I felt the Steel type that I was going to pick, I didn't have to primarily push it. And then if push came to shove, we just didn't have a Steel type. Thankfully we do, so our next to be discussed will be a Steel type. But Joltik does have some pretty cool stuff going for it. It's surprisingly pretty strong, and it's got Compound Eyes, so moves like Thunder will be hitting pretty accurately, and it cannot miss Electro Web thanks to the Compound Eyes as well. So it's a good reliable form of speed control that can break something like Focus Sashes or Sturdy or anything like that. And, you know, it'll be pretty interesting to see how Joltik goes. Probably going to be a potential fan favorite. Well, we'll have to see what happens with it, but I'm pretty excited to use Joltik. Joltik isn't really something that I've used too much or even considered that much in the Sandbox draft leagues before, so it'll be fun to see how it goes, I reckon. Then onto now the next tier 3. Then after that, we can finish off with our big boys. Alrighty, the tier 3 that we grabbed was primarily a Steel type. It also comes with the Ground type as well in the form of Alolan Diglett. Mainly because I do like to have Fire Water Grass Balls. I also, if I can, try to get them. Drop Dragon Fairy Steel as well, sort of otherwise known as like a fantasy core, quote unquote. So we have Alolan Diglett. Alolan Diglett is known realistically just for speed, and honestly, that's probably fine enough. It could probably steal some decent damage with Iron Head, maybe get a flinch or two. Tangled Hair is a relatively nice ability as well. Anything that's forcing contact with something like a Fake Out, for example. Looking to break a almost guaranteed Focus Sash on a Diglett. Does come at the cost of speed with the Tangled Hair. So stuff like that's pretty nice. And it kind of fit what we needed on our team relatively well. So pretty happy to have that. And thankfully that one also wasn't sniped. So yeah, welcoming Diglett, Alolan Diglett, onto the squad there. So not too much really more to say about that. You'll see in action when we bring it. But we'll go into the next two, the big two, both the tier 1s that we left for pick 10 and pick 11. Which is not something I would advise doing. It's kind of worked out for me, I feel, but you know, it's a drafting strategy, I guess. So you know, do as you wish. Okay, so I specifically drafted this first, so there was only me and one other coach that could pick tier 1s, and we had a discussion of what we both wanted to pick. I knew he had a tier 1 fighting type already, but I knew he wasn't going to grab the last one, so I grabbed the last one that I grabbed last for a little bit of hype, because I'm actually pretty excited to use it. Fighting types are good, believe it or not, and Mienfoo was free from tier 1. I think it was the only fighting type left that was free in tier 1. I was eyeing off Crabrawler, but Crabrawler did end up getting drafted a little bit before me, so not a problem at all. Mienfoo will be good. It's got 3 pretty great abilities, some very solid moves as well. Got a good little move pool there, so we should be able to try and abuse the best out of it as well. It also adds to the Fake Out collection we've got. So I think we've got like, I think it's actually our second Fake Out. I think we've only got the 2 Fake Outs. But having a second Fake Out, you know, is always great in something like this, because if we do need to have like that second Fake Out there, or even look to like threaten fake out pressure, we do have that option in the infield as well whenever it hits the field. So yeah, with that settled done, I'm pretty keen to get into this last Pokemon, because I don't think anyone from Sandbox has like drafted this one, and it's just always sat in tier 1. So I wanted to get our hands a bit stinky just to see how that all goes. Okay, and last pick, this Pokemon will be getting used. I can guarantee it, this Pokemon will be getting used at least once throughout the season. Bench warmer, pretty much for life. Welcome Sotodle. Sotodle is infamous for just having a humongous HP stat and being that big, round, white sphere you see in the snowy areas of Paldea. Sotodle actually has surprisingly good tools going forward. I don't really want to dive too much into them, but I've had a quick look at it. I just had a look at some of the stuff it can do, and it's pretty strong. So this might be... It's weird to say that tier 1 is ever a sleeper pick, but this might be a sleeper pick. So I'm really excited to see how it goes and play around with Sotodle there going into the season. So yeah, pretty keen. Not too much to say about Sotodle. I really don't want to spoil too much of what I've seen it could do in theory and stuff that I want to put into practice. So I'll leave that all under wraps for the time being. We're gonna have fun with Sotodle though. It's gonna be good. Okay, yeah, to quickly round out the draft as well, I'm really happy with my draft. I am pretty keen to get in and play games. The scheduling for uploads and stuff might be a bit tricky because in the first 5 weeks of the season, I am out of town twice. Fortunately, one of those weeks, the longer week that I am out of town for, I do have the planned local. We'll get into that the week that comes up. But we do have another one as well, and we'll sort of schedule that when we come to it. But yeah, I'm keen as a bean for the squad. Hopefully a thumbnail. Hopefully you guys watching are keen for the Sandbox season as well. If there are other coaches that like upload and stuff, I will pop links in the bio. But I'll run through and have a look at all of them. But in which case, thank you for watching, and we'll see you week 1 when that one gets uploaded.